In your forthcoming book, you write about coevolution a little bit, and you talk about how evolution has worked both ways. Domestication is usually thought about the humanizing of dogs, the domestication of them, but coevolution talks about how the human is dogged, as it's put in your paper. And so it sounds like scientists are thinking about how dogs are shaping some of the course of human biology and cultural development. Now, someone hearing about this might think, how on earth could dogs have a significant effect or any effect on humanity? What do you think about that?
I think once you take a long view of human cultures, the question that comes to mind for me is how could dogs not have that impact? Because they have enabled the rise of hunter-gatherer societies and later agricultural societies through their work as hunting and herding companions. And so it's hard to imagine human cultures evolving in the way that they have, and our food system, which shapes so many aspects of our species and our societies, evolving the way that it has without dogs. So that even while we may no longer be as dependent on them for those aspects of our societies and cultures, at least in the West, we have become who we are and what we are largely through our cooperation with dogs.
Mm-hmm. One thing I saw that you wrote about is how some of Homo sapiens might have had kind of an advantage against Neanderthals, yes. And how because of dogs, it might have actually helped us to survive and quote unquote beat the Neanderthals. And so, kind of the vast importance of dogs in history is kind of, it sounds like, just being discovered in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is still very much a theory, but there's some evidence to support or suggest that at the same period that dogs begin to emerge as distinct from wolves, this is also a period when you see a decline in a rapid decline in the Neanderthal population, which would support potentially that dogs were helpful to Homo sapiens in outcompeting this other species and expanding their own population. Interesting. It also goes to the larger issue of how we assess the capabilities and intelligence of different species, because certainly most of us would probably assume that chimpanzees, being more closely related to us, and of course we're at the top of the hierarchy, right, that they would be more intelligent than dogs. But one dog ethologist, Alexandra Horowitz, points out that in studies that seem to show that dogs are dependent on humans even when those humans are unreliable, and therefore it doesn't seem wise to be dependent on humans in those situations. When you think about it generally, we are these kind of magical food producing creatures for them. And so for them to take this shortcut of looking to humans for cues as to where food might be or other resources might be, that's actually pretty smart, because it usually works out well for them.
Right.